we always have to be thankful for every minute we have now because that crazy guy over there in North Korea is threatening to start blowing things up.
Oh, I thought you meant Chevelle.
No, wait, that's the crazy guy right over here.
Crazy guy across the table from me.
Exactly, yeah, that's the crazy guy across the table. And so here's the interesting part because we got a crazy guy in North Korea who's talking about actually sending missiles over to just off the coast of Guam. And then we have a crazy guy sitting in the White House who's saying, I dare you to do it.
Yeah, but who needs Guam?
Well, it's still...
I think the Guamese might have something to say about that.
Yeah,
Is that what they're called? Guamese?
I don't know. That's a good question. Guamians, yeah.
Guavas?
Guamanians? I don't know.
Guavas.
Guavas? Yeah, okay. Hey,
the Guava citizens.
If you're originally from Guam, why don't you give us a call tonight and let us know. By the way, Fluker, can you let them know how they can write to us on the emails and the Twitters and all that fun stuff?
Guamanian.
Guamaranian.
You can hit us up on the Facebook page at facebook.com/Mixified Radio, or we have a lively chat going on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Mixified.
That's right, and YouTube can join in. Oh, sorry, that was pretty
Wait, what?
bad. I know that was just bad. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, we have somebody else, the original Jeshima.
Oh,
and Sly and the Family blow up the world and start over.
Wow.
Does anybody get that reference? Does anybody except me get that reference?
No, I don't know.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Yes.
Yeah, but what does that have?
It's a song. Never mind. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Okay.
I'm everyday people. Not the Arrested Development
And she
version.
says Guam is America's basement.
Dang. Wow, let's just cut everybody
I thought that
up
was
on this
Puerto
show.
Rico.
It's pretty good. It's good stuff.
Well, that could be too, But anyway, so here's where I blow everybody's mind, okay? Because the discussion this week has been the fear, and this fear is global, by the way. They just did a survey of people in England right now, and most of them are actually afraid that our president is really going to do something drastic if Kim Jong-il actually goes ahead and fires this salvo of missiles, as he's threatening to do, off the coast of Guam. Now, not so coincidentally, even Japan has gotten in on this. They've actually said that they will do something if South Korea does what they say they're going to do.
Well, what is Japan going to do? They don't have a military.
Well, yes.
What Japan is saying is, we're going to say, yeah, go ahead, U.S., and do it, because all of their military bases belong to the U.S.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If Kim Jong-il actually fires these missiles, they have to go over Japan.
Yeah, I was going to say, weren't their first tests kind of getting close to Japan?
Yeah. They actually have to fly them over Japan. They've done it before, and Japan didn't do or say anything about
Japan
it.
can't do or say anything about it.
Well, no. Technically, according to international law, if he flies these missiles over Japan, Japan has the right to shoot him down. We don't think Japan's going to do that.
Japan was demilitarized after World War II. They don't have a military. They have their citizens' defense or whatever.
Yeah, they got to have some kind of
defense.
defense.
They're running around with pea shooters. There's no way they're going to have like any military weapons Japan has.
They do
are
have,
Americans,
right? They do have.
And they've
some
probably
of the
been
Patriot
rebuilt by
missiles.
Sony and are now better. And they'll sell them back to us, and we'll buy them because we're consumer idiots.
That could be too. But the fact is, they must retain some capability to defend their country. Now, whether they're
it's
willing,
called the U.S.
Whether they're willing to do that to back us up is highly unlikely.
It's the other way around, dude.
But see, here's the thing. Trump has promised fire and fury like the world has never seen if Kim Jong-il actually does this. And most people are afraid that he will actually do something like that, okay? There's been this big discussion that what we need is more diplomacy. We've had diplomacy. We've had diplomacy for years. All through the Obama administration, this guy's been pushing our buttons, playing with this nuclear weapon, and thumbing his nose at the international community, all of whom have said, you need to stop playing with the nukes.
Well, technically, it wasn't this guy. It was his dad.
Well, his dad to begin with, and then he took over, and he just keeps going, and he just keeps going.
It exponentially.
And the world has said,
feeding people to
you got to
dogs
stop.
and whatnot.
You got to stop. Basically, the world is saying, stop that, and nobody's doing anything about it, right?
What
So
are they
Trump
gonna
has finally
do?
said, all right, you go ahead and fire those missiles and see what happens. And for once, I'm actually on Trump's side. I don't think diplomacy is going to work with this guy. You can sanction him all you want. He doesn't give a rat's behind, and it's time to actually, instead of talking, do something. Now, if that means we got to turn it into a parking lot, I don't know. But
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because right now this is only reasonable because they could theoretically hit a U.S. territory. But why is it any different that North Korea is doing this rather than is if it's coming from Iran? Iran has threatened to do this for years.
But Iran doesn't actually have the capability.
They have the capability to hit tons of U.S. allies. They could decimate Europe if they wanted to. And they have the nuclear capability, and they have the weapons, and some argue they have the backing of Russia.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. The thing is, they keep threatening, but they haven't actually done it. Kim Jong-il has done everything he's threatened to do.
I wouldn't
up to this
say
point.
Iran hasn't done it. There are definitely missiles that have been fired out of Iran into some of their neighboring countries. And the only reason we haven't really... If they hit Saudi Arabia, I bet you we'd be there in a heartbeat.
Probably so.
If they hit Israel, we'd be there in a heartbeat. If they hit anywhere in Western Europe, everybody in Europe would want to turn it into a parking lot. But nobody says anything about it.
They're going to mess with my oil.
Yeah, I can't have my gas prices going up. That's insane. So I'm just saying it seems a little hypocritical, although Kim Jong-il is pretty much a nut job, but how is he any different from the people that have been running a lot of these Middle
it's
Eastern
funny. We
countries?
keep calling him a nut job, but I don't think he's crazy at all. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Actually, to be fair, I don't think he's crazy either. And if I were a country like North Korea, I would probably do the exact same thing. Because I think that, and this gets back to probably my libertarian leanings.
Live
they're
the
an
good life while
independent-
your people starve?
Well, no, maybe not that part. But no, being able to defend yourself, because North Korea has tense relations with China, which, in my mind, is actually the world's largest military power.
I think you mean tensuous.
Tenuous? you mean?
Tensuous is the word?
What is
No,
tense?
tense.
What?
Just tense. They're just tense.
Tensuous.
Contentious? Contentious.
Contentious.
Okay.
I know what I said.
My point being, if I were sitting there sandwiched between China on one end and South Korea, which is a U.S. proxy on the other end, I'd want to have some bombs too. So I can't fault them for wanting to do that. And then if you go out to the coast, you've got Japan. So
Okay.
they're surrounded by enemies.
It's one thing to have the bombs. It's another thing to keep firing them off at people who could actually turn your country into a parking lot.
Yeah, but those people are already threatening to turn your country into a parking lot. Anybody who does not believe the U.S. has had military actions in North Korea recently is simply not paying attention. That's it.
Okay,
They're simply
well-
not paying attention.
So let me ask you, I'm going to go around the table here. I would like everybody's opinion on this. What do you think is the proper response right now? Given it's at this point, it looks like a virtual certainty that within a week or so, he's going to fire these missiles at us, or at least at Guam. And the underlying threat in this is that if I can reach out and touch Guam, I can reach out and touch the West Coast.
If they can touch Guam, they could decimate Japan easily.
Real
Japan's
quick.
a lot
is-
easier
We're
than Guam.
talking about the United States.
Real
Forget
quick,
Japan.
real quick.
Yeah.
Divine Artist says it's Guamanians.
Oh, Guam.
Or
I don't think that's it.
Chamorro Guamanians.
I like the
if you're
Guam.
indigenous.
I like Guamaranians better, but thank you.
Guamanian.
I like guavas.
Oh.
They're delicious.
Okay. Anyway,
North Korea.
back to the question at hand. How do you handle this? Let's say that you're sitting in the big chair right now, and you get to make all the decisions. What do you guys think the right course of action
I
is?
think I am in the big chair. I get to choose which camera goes on. Boom.
Yeah, he's actually got the only chair that has
Boom.
arms on it. You know, I mean, like,
I don't like arms on
Boom.
chairs.
really?
Yeah.
I like having arms on my chair, but anyway, that's a.
I feel like you guys said something about sanctions and whatnot aren't going to affect him.
No, it's not that they don't affect him. He just doesn't care.
No,
But I
no,
think
they
that
don't
really
affect them.
would.
No, they
Because
wouldn't.
that's what he's doing. He's living like a fat cat off of the backs of his people.
Which is why
and he's drinking
sanctions wouldn't work.
Cristal. No, I think it would. I think he's got a little bit of a cache of his items that he likes. But I think if people really stopped giving North Korea all the things they need to actually survive, I mean, yeah, the people are starving now, but then they would really be in dire
This guy's like a
straits.
gigantic baby. If you take away his pacifier, the Cristal and whatever it is you're talking about, that's going to make him have a tantrum. Then he'll just hit the button harder, more times. But anyway, go ahead. So you're
think
saying
sanctions
is the way to handle this. You want to go the diplomatic route
I mean,
still.
if all he's doing is threatening,
Yeah, but like I said, we're pretty
I think
much
we're well
it's a
past
virtual
sanctions.
certainty he's going to fire these missiles. All right, if he doesn't, because look at this point, he's started a game of chicken. He can't back down from.
people have claimed it's 11:59 on the doomsday clock.
But he has
Hundreds
started a
of
game of
times.
chicken at this point that he can't back down from. If he doesn't do it, then he looks like the wuss, and we go, nah. We knew you wouldn't do it. You know best. So he's going to do this.
Now that scenario frightens me. Because what if he does back down and you have Trump as a president?
Yeah,
because he's the type of guy that would
He
do
will.
the
He's going to go. No, you know better. Yeah. All right. So Todd still wants to go the diplomatic route, which I think is a waste of time. That's just me. What do you think?
The only reason I think diplomacy wouldn't work is because in order for it to work, you have to have all of the other countries allied with you. I don't think China's going to accept it. I don't think Russia's going to accept it. They're not going to just cut off North Korea, because if they could pull North Korea in as an ally, particularly China, then they really pretty much completely own all of Asia. And that's a short hop into South Korea, the short hop into Japan. And there's always been tenuous animosity between Japanese and most of the Asian countries, but China specifically.
Okay.
So I don't think that's going to work, because if they can't get it from us, they'll just go to China.
All right,
and frankly, everything we get comes from China anyway, so they'd probably be better off not dealing with us at all.
What do you think does work? That's the question. What would you do?
I would like to see diplomacy as a solution, but that's only going to work if the immediate neighbors also sign on. If that is not the case, what I don't want to see happen is the same thing that happened with the first strike. If he launches missiles and he hits Guam, I mean, you really don't have another option. But if you're going to go in first strike, I think first off, first strike you should choose strictly him as a target, because you basically cut the head off. And yes, you're going to destabilize the entire country and whatnot. But maybe that's when South Korea and North Korea merge and you pull down the wall a la Berlin.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because there is a lot of speculation that the whole organization is kind of like the mafia. It's a very cutthroat thing. If you take the head off the snake, there's a whole bunch of people waiting to take over power, and a lot of them would probably be cooler, more rational heads than this guy.
I don't think that's hard to do.
No.
This guy, there's nothing cool or rational about him.
Okay.
He's paranoid, and if you go online and just look at how he's living, he lives in one of the most fortified and safe places on the planet, because he does not trust anybody.
Well,
I saw that Seth Rogen movie.
So you're
that
saying
a movie?
you're saying a surgical strike on him
I think
alone.
a surgical strike would be the best way to go. Then take out some strategic military targets. You have to strengthen South Korea if you do that, because that's your front door into North Korea. And you have to strengthen Japan if you do that, because if you create that vacuum and China comes down, all bets are off, because we have absolutely no way of pushing back against China.
Well, see, now I'm going to tell you what my solution is on this, all right? I don't know if anybody remembers this, but back in the days of the Cold War, we had this wonderful thing called Operation Chrome Dome going. This went through
Lex Luthor?
This went all the way through the 80s, by the way. No, as a matter of fact, what we had was a whole bunch of B-52 Stratofortresses loaded with nuclear armaments flying around the outside, in international airspace, doing circles around Russia all the time. If Russia hit the button and tried to launch a bomb, an ICBM, we had planes 24 hours a day sitting there ready to fly right over Russia and annihilate their country.
I think we have that now with North Korea.
And I think we need to do that now with North Korea.
And I think we still have that with Russia.
We need Operation Chrome Dome. No, Chrome Dome went down at the
name
fall
has
of the wall.
changed, but I assure you the story is the
So we
same.
need Chrome Dome 2. We need to put a whole bunch of stealth aircraft armed with nuclear bombs right there, and if he launches a single missile, we turn his country into a parking lot. We eliminate all the problems all at once, because after we've completely nuked that, the Chinese won't rush in to take over.
Hell yeah, they will.
No, they won't, because they'll just end up with radiation poisoning and they'll all die.
And you know what they're going to do because of that? They're going to see it as a strike against China. And now we have to deal with China and all of the rest. I see that's the problem with a nuclear deterrent. If you bomb all of North Korea, it's not going to just be North Korea. You've got the entire Southeast Asia. You've got all of China, and all of them are going to come after you.
How long were we asking China to intervene and slow this thing down, and they did nothing?
Why should they? If America falls, who's the next superpower? Why should they want to keep us strong?
So why should we worry if there's a little fallout?
Because they have about 20 times more people per person than us. And if they planned an invasion, we could it'd be like the zombie apocalypse, except they'd all be Chinese.
See, but here's the thing, okay? If that escalates, it's mutually assured destruction. There won't be any winners.
The only reason mutually assured destruction works is if both parties agree they don't want that. And that's the problem with nations.
So you think the Chinese are ready to die?
I think, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think they're a lot more ready to die than any American would be.
That's an interesting
If you look at Americans, we're more concerned about whether or not we're going to be able to get the next iPhone or the next Samsung than we are about whether or not we're getting a meal. You got Chinese people who are working jobs 20 hours a day digging ditches.
History has shown time and time again that we get complacent until we're threatened, and then we get all ticked off.
I don't know that that's the case, because if that were the case, we would have done this in the Middle East.
That was the greatest generation.
Yeah.
I don't know about this generation.
So you think we're in trouble,
completely apathetic. All you have to do, we care too much. is the short answer.
About ourselves,
We
maybe.
care
No,
too much about that
we
iPhone,
care too-
and
yeah,
that's
you're
coming
right.
straight from China.
Why would I want to bomb China? I like cheap televisions.
Really? They tick me off because they break 6 months after I buy them.
Then you just go buy another one. If it was made in America, it would still break in 6 months, only it costs $4,000.
I disagree. I think if it was actually made in America, it would last a long time.
All right.
But anyway, so that's where we all stand on that. You say surgical strike. You say let's talk this out tomorrow. I say
Jeshua
I can't say
says,
that.
what does China have besides copper and a 100-year plan?
They got America beat with copper and a 100-year plan.
I don't know. Do they have a functioning healthcare? But national.
They
healthcare
don't
system?
care about their population, which is why the population would be so ready to die.
Yeah, that's why there's so many of them.
That's why they are outsourcing their population because they have a surplus of males. Number one, which is why they have such a large military. They have that one-child rule, so you have a lot of
They
people
have
who
a
just want
large
a male
military
child.
because everyone is required to serve. They're not volunteers.
They're required to serve, and they have a huge male surplus because most people, because of the one-child rule, don't keep their female children. They either adopt them out or kill them outright because they want to have a male heir.
Uh-huh.
So all of those extra men go to the military.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of times
one
they're
nuclear
stationed.
bomb doesn't care how many people are in
Well,
the
but
fallout
the thing is,
zone.
they're not just in China. If you look statistically, the Chinese are buying up properties all over the U.S. You can look anywhere in Southern California, you can see it. They're buying up lots of places in the
We've
Caribbean.
known for a long time that they're buying out the U.S.
But it's
That's
not just
a
the U.S.
question.
It's the Caribbean, it's Africa, it's South America, because they've got a huge surplus of cash and a huge surplus of population.
Okay.
And
I
those two
still
things
don't
combined,
see how
there's
that-
no way we could take them out. No way.
Oh, I'm not. I don't have a beef with the Chinese
You
people.
mess with North Korea,
I'm not
you're messing with the
looking to
Chinese.
eliminate the entire Chinese population. I'm just saying.
Actually,
if,
maybe they'd be happy.
I'm gonna take a Bush approach to this and say, if you're not with us, then you're against us.
That didn't work. When he said that, most of our allies turned on us.
Oh, well. And now look where we are. Now
Yeah.
we've got a crazy North Korean guy with missiles who wants to launch them at us.
Well, there you go.
So, okay. Anyway,
And
I
now
think
all of our viewers are turning on us.
you think so?